needed from all sides to distribute supplies properly within Gaza.
Yeah. Jake Horton there. Well, with me now is Saeed Shehata from BBC Arabic. Saeed, all of this underlines the need for a truce. So how are those talks going?
There is no talks right now. The latest is Mr. Ismail Haniyeh, the chief of the political bureau of Hamas, talked with the Qatari Prime Minister yesterday and talked with the head of intelligence of Egypt, Abbas Kamel. And they talk about sending a new delegation from Hamas to negotiate about a truce. They were supposed Hamas to respond to a proposal from Israel on Monday, but they didn't. On Wednesday, they didn't. So it looks there is a problem because Hamas and Israel, they have a big gap between them. Hamas conditions the withdrawal of the Israeli forces from Gaza. They want to...
And a permanent ceasefire.
A permanent ceasefire. Yeah. But Israel is saying, after the release of some hostages, a return of some prisoners, will be kind of a truce for 40 days where there will be no hostilities or no fighting. And they call in the next second stage of a sustainable period of calm instead of using permanent ceasefire. So is a gap between them. In addition to that, Mr. Netanyahu insisting on launching a ground offensive in Rafah. So, and this even in spite of the warning from the United States, from the Palestinian, from other United Nations organization, because it would be the catastrophic effect on the civilians, where there is more than 1 million people live in Rafah. Most of them are displaced from the north and other places in Gaza.
But you think all of this would put pressure on both sides to reach an agreement? Is it just that their demands are too far apart? Because even America is putting a lot of pressure on both sides.
The Americans, they're trying to they're saying, Mr. Blinken and Mr. Biden saying now Hamas turn to accept what is Mr. Blinken said a strong proposal from Israel, but in Hamas' opinion is not, because their condition are not compromised according to them. So they insist on the withdrawal and the return of the displaced people from the south to the north,
okay.
And this will affecting the situation inside Gaza.
So the picture you're painting is that sides are very far apart at the moment. The longer this goes on, though, it's bad news for both sides. And our BBC colleagues are reporting alarm in Israel over possible legal action over Gaza. This interesting report on the BBC website saying that the International Criminal Court is potentially planning to seek arrest warrants for military and political leaders on suspicions of war crimes, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He could be among those.
It's not a good news for Israel because there is some isolation for Israel on international areas. There is demonstration in America, there is demonstration in other places. There is a case by South Africa against Israel in the International Court of Justice, and now seeking arrest warrants against Mr. Netanyahu and other top leaders from the army and the politician. It's not a good news. And even Mr. Netanyahu, and this shows his concern about that. He said he accused the ICC of attempting to paralyze the ability of Israel to defend itself. So he accusing them, but the ICC looking at that after Mr. Karim Khan, the chief prosecutor of the ICC, looking into the cases.
He visited Israel, didn't he, and the occupied West Bank last December. And this is coming off the back of that.
Yeah, he visited and he condemned the violence against civilians on both sides, not only on the Hamas, in Gaza side, but also what the Hamas done in Israel. So he condemned both sides, and he promised to investigate that.
Yeah.
And part of that is maybe a plan of arrest warrants against Mr. Netanyahu.
Potentially,
Mr. Netanyahu,
I should just say Mr. Netanyahu has called the prospect of senior Israeli figures joining the wanted list as an outrage of historic proportions, accusing the ICC of attempting to paralyze Israel's ability to defend itself. Saeed, as always, thank you very much.